Last week, I posted a video talking all about how some people just don't like to see Black women living soft, happy lives, and I based it off of a lot of the comments that I receive on social media, along with comments that I see other Black women receive on social media. One of the main things that I said in that video was that media oftentimes shows Black women as struggling, and when you're not in this little struggle box that they want to put you in, it makes some people uncomfortable. And about 15 people commented saying that Tyler Perry's movie Straw is making this issue worse. So of course, I went and I did something that I would normally never do. I watched a Tyler Perry movie. And it was just as tragic as you'd imagine. Now, this is not going to be a movie review. I want to make that very clear up front. This is not a movie review. I want to talk about Tyler Perry's Straw because I want to talk about what visual pollution looks like. I want to talk about what it does to your brain. I want to talk about how avoiding it can help you live a softer, happier life. So like I said, this is not a movie review. If you want a movie review, go somewhere else. I hear a lot of people really liked that movie. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Kate. Welcome to my channel. I like to talk about all things luxury. If you are into that kind of thing, feel free to subscribe and come and join our little luxurious family that we have here. We would love to have you. So like I said, I want to talk about visual pollution today, specifically the type that is, presented to you as representation. This will have spoilers, but if I haven't already made it clear, I don't think that you should watch this movie anyway. So don't watch this movie. The spoiler shouldn't be a problem is what I'm trying to say. So Straw is Tyler Perry's latest film, and you guessed it, it features a struggling Black woman as the lead character. And as you could have also guessed too, that lead character is played by Taraji P. Henson. And while she is a fabulous actress, this movie didn't do it for me. This movie was struggling on top of struggle on top of struggle, and it just never stopped. So in the movie, Taraji P. Henson plays a character who is a single mom. She's living in an undesirable part of town in an apartment complex that she cannot afford anymore. She is in the process of being evicted, and her child is this adorable little girl who has multiple medical conditions, one of which causes her to have seizures. She requires medication that is very expensive, and they do not have medical insurance. Now, of course, this is an accurate representation of some people's lives. This is some people's day-to-day life. They are struggling with medical expenses for kids who need their medication. They need their treatments. They need this. They are on the verge of being evicted from their home. They're not being treated fairly. They're not being treated well by anyone. In the movie, she's treated horribly by her boss. She works at a grocery store, and it's like the world is just kind of against her. And that is a very real feeling for a lot of women. That is a very real feeling for a lot of people. That is not the problem that I have with this movie. The problem is that instead of this being an inspiring movie where things maybe turn around at some point, and even though things are looking bad for her at first, she, grows as a character, has some progression, and eventually is on an upward trajectory toward the end of the movie. That is absolutely not the case here. Instead, what happens is she goes to work. She needs to leave because she needs to go and bring her daughter money for school. She needs to bring her money for food. Her boss won't give her her check. She gets fired, and then she comes back to the job after getting her car hit and police officers being incredibly rude and disrespectful to her. See, this is all something that can happen, all things that happen daily in real life. And she goes back to her boss to go ask for this check again. And the boss is like, no, you're not getting it. You can wait for it in the mail. Being real rude to her. And then there is a robbery. While she is at the grocery store, they're in this back office. There's a robbery, and there's two men that come in. They say, give me all the money. They're talking to the boss, her boss. I don't know how much I can say on YouTube. I know on TikTok they're real sensitive about this, so I'm going to use the TikTok versions of the words. So I know some people find that annoying, but I'm going to do it just so that the video, nothing happens. One of them has a pew pew. The one with the pew pew, she grabs it from him, and she unalives him. The robber, she unalives the robber, and then her boss is freaking out. He's like, oh, you planned this, didn't you? You were trying to, get me. You knew these people. They called you by your name. She had a name tag on. They're like, you must have known these people. And she's like, no. She basically just saved his life, and he's blaming her. And she's like, no, I don't know these people. That's crazy. I don't know them. And he just starts flipping out and screaming and yelling. And so she unalives him too. So now we got a situation. And then all of this leads to I would say maybe a couple hours later, maybe an hour later. Time is really hard in this movie. She goes and she holds people hostage at a bank, kind of accidentally. She really went to go cash her check. All she grabbed was the check. She didn't steal any money. She didn't take anything from the grocery store. She went to go cash her check. All she wanted was the money so that she could get to her daughter's school and give her the money, the $40 for her lunch. And while all that was going on, her landlord put all her stuff out on the street in the rain, and she was evicted. So she gets to this bank. The teller says she needs her ID. She doesn't have her ID, and so she pulls the pew pew back out of her bag and sets it on the counter. And now all of a sudden we have a hostage situation. And I must say, so there was a hostage negotiator, and she was played by Tiana Taylor. And so she steps in, she gains the trust of Taraji's character. The best part about this movie, though, was Tiana Taylor's hair, probably. That was probably the best part about the movie. The whole plot twist is that you find out that the daughter had already passed away yesterday from a seizure. This is her really going through a mental health episode. And as she is in this bank holding people hostage, it's live streaming. So it's live streaming off of somebody's phone that's inside the bank. Everybody starts to become on her side. Like the general public that's in the area is like, oh, that's my girl, you know, like I like her. She's really nice. She always helps me out. You know, she would never hurt a fly, like blah, blah, blah. So they come outside the bank. They got signs. Everybody's cheering her on. And then she gets arrested because, you know, she held hostages at a bank and like unalived somebody. So 2 people. Well, one of them was justified, but the other person, not really. So she's like going to jail for life pretty much, and she lost her daughter. What a horrible ending to a movie. So like I said, the first half of the movie, very much realistic, very much things that people go through. I don't want to minimize that because that is representation to someone. However, someone in that position, what you don't want is to have the character that you identify with go through all this and then go to prison for life. Like, how is that a movie with representation that someone would want? You can't just call that representation and then be like, oh yeah, no, that's representation. You know, you got somebody like you, like somebody who's struggling, right? Like somebody like you. I mean, it never gets better, but like it's somebody like you though. Like, what? My bigger point in this is that after watching this, I did not feel moved. There was absolutely nothing inspiring about the movie. There was nothing that made me feel any type of hope or like, you know, positive feelings whatsoever. I literally felt mentally polluted. I had to detox my thoughts for like 2 hours after, just to like shake off the weight of the film. And sometimes that is something that's normal that happens with these really sad movies. This is time that I would usually spend reaffirming the visions that I have, thinking about and having manifestations go through my mind, really trying to build up the person that I am, positive thoughts, really valuable time that, you know, you use to have and keep your mind right on a daily basis. All that was hijacked by a storyline that the pain just never stopped in it. And that's when it hit me that we are not just watching media, we're not just watching content, we're not just watching a movie, we are programming our minds. Everything that we watch programs our minds. And this is not in like a conspiracy theory type of way of like, they're programming us to blah, blah, blah. But like, doesn't it kind of seem like it's on purpose though? Like everything that you watch is programming though. Everything that you see is programming. If you see a billboard, that's programming. You talk to people outside where you live is programming. What you're looking at is programming. People around you, what people say, what people talk about is all mental programming because it all impacts how your brain thinks. But when you're looking to something or someone like Tyler Perry, for example, for representation of a group that you're a part of, and time again, the movies and the representation looks like that. What does that tell you? Doesn't that tell you that the person making these movies does not care about you? They don't care about you. They don't care about your mind. They don't care about you getting out of the situation that you're in. They don't care that you're struggling. They want you to be struggling. That's exactly what they talk about every time they make a movie. Now, I haven't seen all the Tyler Perry movies. I do know that he has a pattern of showing Black women struggling. And a lot of times they struggle throughout or until they find a man that comes and rescues them toward the end of the movie, where that man a lot of times does not have money. He a lot of times is struggling to get by, but he's the nice guy. And before, maybe she was, I think this is like Diary of a Mad Black Woman, right? Or before she was with the rich guy and like the rich guy kicked her to the curb and was like, you're not good enough for me. And then like all of a sudden, like some guy who doesn't have money like comes and scoops her up eventually after she's gone through all this trauma and like pain. And the reason that she's worthy of having a nice guy is because she already went through trauma, which don't sit right with me. And then if we talk about like For Colored Girls, I never saw that movie because my mom described it as being like so traumatic that like I never watched it. I never even thought about it, don't even know what it's about, but know that it's traumatic. So yes, he makes movies where Black women are centered. He makes movies where there's representation for Black women. However, these storylines don't really show that Black women are of any value unless they are struggling, unless they have been through it. That is the only way that they're going to earn respect or earn somebody loving them or finding them a lovable character. And if we look back at Straw again, this woman doesn't become a hero until she has literally already, her life is already gone. Like she does not become a hero until she is already in the bank until she has already done all of these crimes where she is going to go to jail for the rest of her life, that's when the people who have been around her and know that she's a good person, that's when the people who have been around her are finally standing up for her, doing something, trying to help. They're outside with signs. That's when they identify her with her. That's when they're like, oh, finally, like she broke and she did something about it. Like her breaking point, her absolute worst day of her entire life is the only day in the movie that people respect her. Her pain is the only thing that makes her visible, and her desperation is the only thing that gives her respect in that movie. So what does that tell you about what we're internalizing? What does that tell you? What does that tell you about what a Tyler Perry movie is going to teach to your brain? In my opinion, this content is dangerous to Black women. If your mind is supposed to be healing, manifesting, looking for a life of luxury, looking for a soft life, looking to feel confident and successful, whatever that looks like to you, I want to remind you of my definition of a soft life, because people get this twisted sometimes, and my definition of a soft life has nothing to do with men. That is something where you have peace within yourself, where you are able to rest, you are able to trust yourself, you're able to live a life that isn't dominated by stress, by unnecessary stress specifically, because some stress you're always going to have. No matter what, you're always going to have some type of stress. That's kind of what keeps you going as a human, and that's just life. But unnecessary stress, you're getting rid of unnecessary stress. If your goal is to live a soft, happy, comfortable, luxurious life, movies like this are working against your thoughts. And this doesn't just count for Tyler Perry movies. This counts for true crime. This counts for watching shows that have unnecessary negativity and negative drama. Go watch somebody teaching you how to be successful. Go watch somebody teaching you how to live a life that you want. Go watch somebody talk about manifestation. Go watch somebody talk about how to upgrade yourself, how to change your look, how to do whatever you're trying to do, how to start a business, whatever. Use it for something productive. Don't just let your brain rot with that type of stuff. Like I said, it doesn't have to be the extreme of a Tyler Perry movie, but there's so many things that are visual pollution to us. This goes for anyone. This goes for any group of people. Anyone. There's so much visual pollution out there. That's why a lot of people think that social media can be negative, but not if you use it in the right way. If you follow people who are inspiring you and who are talking to you in a way that makes you feel like you want a better life, or like they're helping you to get a better life, that's different. Watch that type of stuff. Then social media is not bad. Follow people who you like to look at. Follow people who you like to see do well. That is mental programming too. If you're mentally programming yourself to look at people who are like, oh, people who look like me, women who look like me are doing really well. Watch and listen to inspiring content that makes you better, that makes you want to be better. All of living a soft life is up here. It's in here. There's some things that you need, like you need your basic needs taken care of. I talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs when I first did a video about soft life. Your basic needs need to be covered, but after that, you have the ability to live a soft life. You got food, water, shelter, things are taken care of, you're good. You can live a soft life. It's up here. It's not out there. It's in here. We're already living in a society that expects us to be strong and tough and endlessly self-sacrificing. We do not need the visual reinforcement in our downtime. Like, you're choosing to watch a Tyler Perry movie while you're off work. What you doing that for? You choosing to stress yourself out by watching true crime when you're off work? I know a lot of people are not gonna like that, but the true crime will do it too. And that's not just about Black women. You don't just consume media, you digest it, you emotionally metabolize it, it becomes part of you. And if you're someone who believes in intentional living and manifestation, that really matters. It took a couple hours for me to get back into my normal mindset after watching the movie, and I watched it on 2x speed, so I really skipped through a couple parts. I was just trying to get the vibe, just trying to get the vibe of the movie. It didn't make me emotional, and it still took me a while to get back into my own regular mindset. So I choose to watch things based on how I feel, because to me, that's not entertainment. To me, entertainment is going to be something that makes me feel good, something that makes me feel hopeful and excited and happy. So I ask myself, does it align with the life that I want? Does it expand my mind? Does it give me joy, happiness? And if it doesn't do any of those things, then I don't want to watch it. And of course, we all fall victim to a little trash TV, okay? I am not exempt from it. I love a good reality show, all right? But I do what I can to try to keep my mind as clear as I can with the intentional thoughts that I want to be thinking. This is why I make the content that I make. I want to be able to be a happy, positive space. And I want to share the things that I have learned about what I put into my mind and what I choose to think when it comes to my thoughts and my manifestations. Your mind is just extremely powerful, and you need to protect it at all costs. Let me know in the comments what you like to watch, what makes you feel inspired, what makes you feel good, what type of content you end up watching when you have downtime. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this one. Also, if you want to follow me on my other socials, I will put them on the screen. It's Kate Swan. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.